$35,000
No, man, that's too much.
for a wedding?
I don't think we can do it. We need to wait.
We need to talk about this coming up next. Hello.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Heath.
I'm Tracy
Welcome to Joyfully Married After.
on Heath and Tracy TV.
This is the channel where we talk about love, relationships, marriage. Tracy and I have been married for over 26 years. We have 4 children and a unique perspective on all of those things.
So if you're new here, consider subscribing or commenting and join us for our weekly conversation.
Check us out.
Check it out. So,
What we talking about today?
too much emphasis on the wedding.
Is there too much emphasis on the wedding? So I tell you what, this idea came up from me. I was watching TV a few weeks ago. I think it was last month. And so I saw some sportscasters having a conversation around, do we put too much emphasis in the NBA on who takes the last shot in the game? Right? I think it was Russell Westbrook had taken the last shot in the game and he missed a shot, and they were having all of this conversation around, does that diminish him as a player? Is he not as valuable? Is he not as good? And I was saying to myself, what? Russell Westbrook is just like killing it. He's like triple doubles every day. So the point is that he brings so much value to what he's doing, that team and that franchise.
What does it matter?
And so it got me to thinking about people who are in relationships, who are in committed relationships, but don't want to get married because they put so much emphasis on the marriage and their picturesque idea
on the wedding.
On the wedding, right.
No.
Their picturesque idea of what the wedding should look like in their mind, and they always envision it to be this way or that way. So therefore, since they don't have the money to do it right now,
We're not going to get married right now.
So we're just not going to get married.
So many pluses to just go ahead and get married, guys.
Right. Yeah, you live longer, you're happier,
You're healthier.
you make more money. So, just marriage is awesome. So it's sort of the analogy of the Russell Westbrook thing is that you're so much better off with it than without it.
So when you're thinking about your wedding, think about little things. Mm-hmm. Think about maybe, getting on a plane, flying to some cool locale, taking great pics, and understanding that I want to get great photos to remember this by.
Right.
Not necessarily how much you're going to spend on it. Mm-hmm. Make it a great weekend with very close family members. We had a very small wedding.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We were talking about a big wedding before.
Yeah, we were going to do a big wedding, but I was graduating, and we were graduating. We were trying to get out of Howard, and it was like I didn't have time to plan a wedding. It was just that simple.
Right.
My dad was an executive at a Fortune 500 company, and of course it was going to be big, but I was like, Daddy, I don't have time to plan a wedding. Yeah, so we just did a small one. We did a small, intimate wedding with very close family and friends. Things that made it special for us was we did it in the evening, so everyone wore evening attire.
It was a
candlelight ceremony.
Yeah.
And it didn't cost my dad an arm and a leg.
Right.
So those are things you want to keep in mind. Use that money for things you're going to need in your marriage.
Yeah, you're going to need to furnish your apartment.
The average new small apartment.
Okay. Let's back up to the wedding.
Okay.
So the average wedding in today's world in the United States is an average of $26,000.
Oh my gosh.
So somewhere between $26,000 and $33,000, I think was the stat that I saw.
No, don't do that, guys. Cost. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So when you think about the things like, 1, furnishing your apartment. 2, maybe there's some student debt or some
maybe. What's the average student loan debt?
So average student loan debt for 2016 graduates was $36,000.
Ridiculous.
Right? So if you have student loan debt, maybe you have some other debt, credit cards, what have you. You have the need to furnish a new place.
Yeah, that's going to be
together.
What? At IKEA, we looked it up. IKEA
was about $1,800.
Target
was about $2,200.
And I think Pottery Barn.
You
got it like that.
Yeah, Pottery Barn was like $8,000. So you got to be balling to furnish your place.
Well, some of them think they're balling. So we got to bring up Pottery Barn.
Right. But the point is that there's so many other things that you need to do, so many other things that you need to pay for when you're starting a life together. So, maybe instead of being so caught up into having this big blowout wedding, save it and spend it on the things that you need that bring you value.
Because if you spend all your money on that wedding, or your parents' money on that wedding,
right.
it's going to be rough. It's gonna be rough. First of all, you're gonna think we could use that money,
Yeah.
especially early in your marriage. Your
Mhm.
first year is your hardest.
Mhm.
God forbid something happened to one of you. What if one of you it becomes ill? Then if you save that money, guess what? It's okay. You can help. You can get through whatever you got to get through. The first baby, you spend so much
Yep.
money on
Yep.
that first
Get ready
baby,
for that baby.
that you can have that saved up for that too. You know,
Check.
premarital debt is really, really killing marriages.
Mhm.
Debt is killing marriages.
Right.
But
Right.
premarital debt is even worse.
Yeah.
If both of you come to the table 60, 80 grand off the rip, you ain't bought nothing.
Or more. Yeah.
It's ugly. It's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
You can't buy a house. You can't move to a new city to take advantage of a new opportunity. You're locked in. And that's not the way you want to start a marriage. So unless you balling, skip the wedding festivities. Go to the courthouse.
Yeah.
Have a great backyard barbecue with hot dogs, hamburgers, and brewskis. You can really get creative on it.
Yeah.
Pin to your heart's content on Pinterest. Do your little Pinterest board all you want, but watch what you spend. It's just not that important. One more thing.
Yeah, and the emergency fund. You know, so the experts say that you should have somewhere between 3 and 9 months of
I think
savings,
more.
right?
I think
And you can,
more.
yeah, some people say even more, right?
Yeah.
But if you use a hypothetical of $2,000, if you need $2,000 a month to live, for 3 months that's $6,000,
Yeah.
and for 9 months that's
If
$18,000.
you need 5,000,
Yeah, that's a lot.
15 grand.
That's a lot.
And that's a wedding, guys.
Yeah.
Forget it.
And the reason that you want to have that is in case of job loss, in case of unforeseen things that can happen. To Tracy's point earlier, somebody gets ill.
I've heard of that.
You know, maybe
Yeah.
something happens with your car, your transmission goes, the engine goes, right? You know,
So
that
what?
could be 2,
You
3,
can
4
handle
grand,
it.
5
Yeah.
grand. Yeah, and so when you have all of those kinds of things to consider, there are lots of other ways to deploy the cash instead of just
A dress,
doing it on a giant wedding.
a ring,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. And then the other thing is, if your parents insist on giving you a wedding, split the difference with them.
Mhm.
Say, okay, cool, we can do a wedding. Can we halvesies it? Can we say, okay, you get
Can we go have these?
like whatever whatever you want to spend on the wedding, mom and dad?
Yeah,
Take half of that and stroke us a check
yeah.
for our savings account or our debt, and then we'll have a wedding with the other half.
Yeah.
That would be the smart move,
And
guys.
people that love you don't care that you're not having some kind of giant wedding or
Have
that kind of thing.
something.
Yeah. Another point I wanted to bring too was that you can always do something down the road, right? So maybe
Yep.
first year anniversary, 5th year anniversary. You know, maybe you do a big honeymoon, or maybe you do a big party,
Yep.
a kind of nice reception or something. Renewal of the vows. There's all kinds of things that you
Yep.
can do.
And it's all
you know,
expensive.
After you're a little more settled and situated, and you've got things going and things in order. So the point here is that there's so many other positives that go along with being married. Don't just let the wedding or not having the picturesque wedding that costs 50 grand that you envision. Don't let that inhibit you from getting married. So the moral of the story is, guys, marriage is awesome. I love this woman.
Hurry up and get married.
I would do it all over again at the drop of a hat. And I would not be so concerned about having some kind of super duper blowout celebrity type wedding. I just
Not a
wouldn't.
big deal.
Just wouldn't.
Not a big deal.
So we're glad that you came to enjoy this with us today. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber already. You know, like it if you like this video. If you got some value out of it, give us some thumbs up there, and
Comment.
and put some comments down below.
Give us some more ideas.
Yeah. We'd love to have comments here, and any way that we can help bring some value to your lives, we want to do that. So join the community down below in the comment section.
And remember to stay
Connected to God, stay connected to your family, stay connected to your spouse or your significant other.
Peace.
So getting married, how much it cost?
50,000.
$50,000. Who you married, Chelsea Clinton?